Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Naima Jefferson, and I live in Shepherd Park. I am that lady that submitted all those amendments. I'm testifying in my individual capacity, but I worked with a team of residents in my neighborhood who submitted a significant portion of the framework and other area elements that were largely ignored by the Office of Planning. Today, you will hear a plethora of witnesses, and I encourage and admonish you to ask them and yourselves a series of questions, which I have listed before you. In my opinion, the draft framework element that you have before you is materially deficient and should be rejected. It will neither address the needs of district residents nor the development community. The comprehensive plan is my plan, my community's plan, and every voter's plan. It was never meant to be the plan of special interest groups, transient folks, and developers, and no single person or organization is in a position to make a decision about this plan. The mayor's draft framework has put each of us in an awkward position, caused division by feeding the false narrative of the NIMBYs versus the smart growthers, and set the entire district up for failure. Each of us has come to this hearing with a lack of progress reports as to the implementation of comprehensive plan actions, the lack of information on the efficacy of the amended version, and the lack of any environmental assessment of the proposed amendments. The mayor's view is that this iteration is to help clarify the plan to the courts of appeals. That is not a sufficient rationale to amend a city's major planning document, nor the legislative intent of the amendment process. Since January, I've met a lot of people in this room, and we've deliberated on a lot of foundational elements. What we can all agree upon is what is occurring right now, particularly in the PUD process, is not working, and the law firms are making a lot of money from all of us. With respect to the draft legislation before you, I will summarize some of my asks, some which have already been stated by other residents. It is imperative that equity and citizen participation be included as guiding principles in the comprehensive plan. These were made as proposed amendments, and they were rejected by the Office of Planning. The written testimony has some information on equity, which another resident will talk about later on this evening, but I will talk about citizen participation. This is very important to make sure that everyone has a seat at the table, everyone. Rather than send a large attachment, I've included a URL which I can send you the PDF, and you can look and see other cities that have citizen participation as a guiding element. I agree with the earlier statements that the change of heights from stories to feet is inappropriate. The land supply that is defined in the current draft should not drastically change, and particularly underutilized land has not doubled. Unless the future land use maps are inconsistent with existing uses, they should not be amended until the next comp plan rewrite. Neighborhood conservation districts are not to be exploited. And also, I suggest that you reject the changes relating to the growth projections due to OP's methodology, which is arbitrary and biased and based on supply-side drivers.
Thank you, Ms. Jefferson.